Hello, and welcome to Mod TV Kaffeeklatsch episode 109, the last episode of 2023, and enjoy the show.
Are we hiding you? Close the screen properly, please. Thank you. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our Mob Kaffeeklatsch last episode of the year, episode 109. Hope everyone's doing well today. Oh, I don't need to be that loud. I have the mic so close. Let me know how the sound check, how everything sounds. I'm a little bit under the weather still. Dolly more so. That was our fantastic opener and closer. Z, who's off from school this week and next week, right,
Z? Yeah.
You're off
from January.
So January what?
I think like 8.
Oh wow, yeah. So she's off this week and next week, so she's here. Buenos dias, Luan. From I'm guessing that's Palm Coast. I guess something, but Florida. Yay! I'm sure it's really warm there. All right, let me say hello to everyone. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Mary Beth. Good morning, Chris Mendoza. Good morning, David. David Percy Pengy Smith. Good morning. Facebook user who can finally make one of these. Good morning, Heather. I'm sorry you got slammed by the ick. It's not fun, but it's good that you're here to lurk. The ick is everywhere, as Chris says. Hope you do feel better. Good morning, Audrey. Paige, hello, good morning. Linda, good morning. Luann, good morning. Wendy, good morning. Rebecca, good morning. Woo! Let's see. Mary Beth, I think I already said good morning, but just in case, good morning. Rebecca, good morning. Who else is here? I think that's everyone so far. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Mob Kaffeeklatsch. It's been a while. Okay, here's the thing. Mob Kaffeeklatsch feels like it's been like this. Like we had the last one yesterday, but it really has been 2 weeks. It just doesn't feel like it's been 2 weeks. Oh, Panama City Beach. Nice. Very nice. So how's everyone doing today? I had to do a serious mad push on Shadow Queen, which is why I like the days after Shadow Queen, my eyes were like, whoa, because I was pulling some serious hours. A really fast 2 weeks, yeah. All right, let me get to the announcements because we're here. We got 16 people. It's awesome. You guys are amazing. Okay, so huge shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello to everyone on YouTube. Hola, welcome. We're on YouTube at Bitten Peaches Publishing, and please don't forget, if you're on YouTube or you haven't been on YouTube or you're going to go on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to get to our 1,000 followers, so please help us push to get to our 1,000, our first 1,000. That would be awesome. That's our first milestone, so we can only do it with your help. So help us get to 1,000, please. Spread the word, please. On Instagram, at Bitten Peaches. I haven't really been on Instagram much because I've been in the word cave cranking out Shadow Queen. So it's calmed down slightly. So I'll get on Instagram this week a bit, and then I'll step back a little bit because I'm going to be in the middle of Corpse Road. So, so please subscribe to our YouTube. Please subscribe to our Instagram. On Instagram, we have, we put up excerpts, book covers, upcoming book covers, so cover reveals, everything book related is on Instagram. On Zazzle, we have our swag. So go to M&S. Oh, let me put these things up. Boom! Look at that, instant. So on Zazzle, we have our swag, and so this is swag from Zazzle. This is not swag from Zazzle. This I had custom made. This is not just Mountain Strong stuff. This is for Bitten Peaches, so you can see the Bitten Peaches logo. This is our publishing logo. So it's peaches in the side of a book, which is pretty awesome. I designed it, so thank you. But it was a stroke of genius, as they say. It just came to me. But this is our Bitten Peaches logo, and this is our one of our Mountain Strong logos. So at our swag store, here we go. I'll put the logo up because we're so fast now. This is the affiliate link. This is our swag store. Go there, get your swag. It's perfect time of the year to get swag. And we have, our lead designer has created a lot of swag. So there's a bunch of stuff to choose from. So please go get some swag there. Let's see what else we got. We don't have any new patrons this week, but we have an amazing group of patrons. So I want to give a huge shout out for making this year an amazing year to all the patrons. And I'll get to this in a moment because there's a reason you're going to want to join Patreon, because I'll get to it in a moment. I'll get back. We'll get back to the whole Patreon thing. The newsletter is currently on hiatus because there's so many things happening. So Dolly is kind of getting the newsletter ready and getting it ready for the new year. So there's a lot of stuff percolating for the new year, simmering for the new year. A lot of announcements in the newsletter that are coming. So brace yourselves. We're on BookBub, so you can follow us at BookBub and just go there, go to BookBub, sign up. This is our Patreon page. I'll save this for later. This is our squad on page, the Magic Squad on Patreon. That's who we are. It's an amazing squad, and you guys get amazing things on Patreon. So you definitely wanna join up. On BookBub, here's where we are. This is our BookBub page. Please go there, sign up. It's free. You just follow us, and just you can follow and see what's new, what's coming up. Leave your reviews on BookBub. And on BingeBooks, thank you, Chris. Chris is on the ball, man. This is our BingeBooks page. So it's BingeBooks is very similar to BookBub, except not as large because BingeBooks is newer. And so you go there, same thing. Follow us, find my name, sign up, leave a review, what books you've read, so forth and so on. And that's it. Basically, you join, you add your reviews. We'll get to the book and audio updates in a moment. We're gonna promote the new authors right away because since it's the last show of the year, we're gonna let it go a little longer this year because it's the last show of the year. So I hear you. It's chuckling in the background because it has been mentioned that I usually let the show go long, and I would say, it just gets away from us. I don't know what happened. It got away from us. So let me just touch on this real quick because the feed is going to move and the comments are going to come in. So let me touch on the Patreon stuff really fast. So I'm going to be starting Corpse Road next week, actually, in a few days. Probably like Monday, Tuesday, because Tuesday's at the day after New Year's. So if you're in Patreon, if you're in the Magic Squad and you're a Mystic and above, because there are tiers, what's happening is that Mystics and above everyone gets chapters. I think everyone up to Mystic gets the first 3 chapters of every new book. But at Mystic, Mystic tier and above, you get the full book. You start getting all the chapters. So you're going to want to incentivize yourself to become a Mystic, so you can get all the chapters before. It's raw. It's like, snippets, but you get the full chapters. So you want to join a Patreon for that. In addition to that, we have the new story that's coming out next week. I'm thinking early next week, for the patrons. That's just for Patreon. And I'm sorry if you're not part of Patreon, you don't get to read that particular story. So really, you want to be part of our Patreon because there's so many fun things that are going to be coming just for the patrons. So there you go. That's my end of the year announcement on Patreon. You want to join the Magic Squad, get on there, and you're going to get chapters, and you're going to get exclusive stories that are only for the patrons. And that's all I'm saying on it, because I can go all day on why you should be part of the Magic Squad. Plus, you get cool titles, which is really awesome. All right, I'm hiding this now. Okay, so we'll go into the book and audio updates later. Let's Chris, you want to update? Do we want to just do our generic promo of we support our indie authors, or do we have any particular indie authors? I know our very own Chris Chrisman has a new book out recently, so that's one indie author you guys got. Where's your link, Chris? We need your link to promote your book. So you guys know the drill. You guys know which authors. I mean, we have so many that we can promote. If I were to have a list, we spend most of the show promoting authors. So here's Chris Chrisman, our very own Chris Chrisman. His new book is out, and it finishes off the trilogy. So make it a point to go get this book. Okay, so it's his third. Wow, this is the third book already, Chris. This is awesome. So that's the only new release. So there you go. Chris has exclusives today. This is the only new release we have. So go get Chris Chrisman's book. This is that. Let's see. Old Mix Wild. Which one is this one? Is this Old Magic? Yes, 3 books. I can't believe it's 3 books too. Is this Old Magic? I'm not gonna click on the link because then it's gonna take me away from the page. Huh? Old Magic. So you have Mixed Magic, Wild Magic, now Old Magic. Old Magic closes off the trilogy. Go grab a copy. I don't know if it was still at 99 cents when you had it, because I know that was the promotional price, but go, whatever the price is, go get it, because we support our indie authors. Wow. Make it a Christmas gift to yourself or to someone else. Who was it that mentioned this? Because I was mentioning the, geez, I'm gonna mangle this. I know it. The Jola Kabla book flood. I know it's the Icelandic tradition of gifting each other books, and then you spend all of Christmas reading, right? So when we release new books, let's say you've already gotten it, because we like to give previews to the mob, but don't let that stop you from picking up the book and gifting it to someone else that you would think, hey, you know what? I enjoy this author. I think they would enjoy this author too. Let me gift it to someone, because that's something you can do, especially if it's on KU. Like Chris says, this is free on KU. It's something you can do on KU. It's something you can do on Amazon. You could always gift the book to someone else. You could purchase it as a gift and then send it to someone. So, you know, who's on surgery? Oh, Leanne, yes, I saw for your MCL, I believe, right? So recover. No jumping jacks, no running around, just rest. And now you have another book to read, which is awesome. One of those languages that don't follow hooked up. Yeah, definitely, Wendy, because I'll find the term again. I'm gonna start and try and push the Jaka Laka Book of Flood. Can you see what it is? It's an Icelandic tradition, the Jaka Book of Flood, I believe. I know I'm mangling it, but it just reminds me of IKEA. So that tradition is, the Jola Boka Flood. It does sound like IKEA. The Jola Boka Flood. I don't know if I'm saying it properly, but the tradition is that you buy a book, you gift books for the holidays, and then you spend the holidays reading your new books. Yeah, true. I think it's Jola Boka Flood. I think. I've bought a lot of IKEA furniture, so I have a little bit of practice. And what you could do with every new book that we promote here in the mob is, maybe you already have it, or maybe, because it's an author that you follow and you're ready, but always think, hey, I enjoyed this book. Maybe someone else will enjoy this book. It's very much like our L3 thing that we do, our list, where I like this book so much, I'm going to put it in the L3 so maybe someone else can discover it. Well, sometimes if you purchase a book or it's in KU, you can turn other people on to those books. That's what we do. Christmas Book Flood. Yes, the Christmas Book Flood. We'll call it that, because that's really what the name means, right? Something like Christmas Book Flood. So we're going to call it our mob Christmas Book Flood, except that we're just calling it our book flood because we don't just want to reserve this for Christmas. We want to kind of have it year round, which is what the L3 is. And it's basically just increasing the visibility of authors who may not get as much visibility, or people may not know about them. Like I was considered one of the 6 underrated urban fantasy authors on a recent list. I put it up in the mob, and then when I go to the list, I'm like, I know all these authors. I've met most of them. They are not underrated. These guys have been around for a while, and they have a really large readership. So what person may consider underrated is really well known somewhere else. So in the mob, what we should do, or what I like us to do, is just get the word out on our indie authors, because that way it helps them. And that means that they write more books. And that's what we want. We want them to write more books so we can have more things to read. And if you haven't, I just read Steve McHugh's Those Who Dwell in Darkness, and it was really good. So it's a new series, a new world, new characters. He's the same one who wrote Helquin, so get yourself a copy of that too. Plus, Christmas is, yes, that's right. Christmas is only a letter away from Christmas, so you can't get any more festive than that. That's true. Luan, okay, don't make me don't make me blush, Luan. Okay, I can see you're really enjoying the beach. Awesome. So let's discuss. I can't discuss Shadow Queen, but let's discuss Shadow Queen broadly, right? Because there are things about Shadow Queen that have been brought up in the art that I think a lot of people may not be getting. Well, not a lot of people, but some. So, like, it starts too abruptly. Yes, because Shadow Queen is not. Most of these books, especially the ones that are in the series, and most of my books are in series. I don't think I've written any standalones. Most of these books are one big story, just cut into pieces. That's what a series is for me, right? Even though each part of each book is like an episode within the series itself, but there's a story that's tying it all together. So Shadow Queen is book 2. It kind of picks up right after book 1. So you do have to read the Stray Dogs to kind of get the continuity of Shadow Queen. And I haven't done this in the past, and I don't know if I'm going to start now, but that whole doing the prequel type thing, or the refresher, or to bring you up to speed, or previously, and I don't really do that because for me it feels like filler, and the person wants to get into the new story. I get that a lot of readers haven't read the previous book in a while and they may forget, but I try not to leave such a big gap, in between books. That hey, I try not to leave such a big gap. Excuse me, in between books, that it's not that long ago that you can remember the book, or you can kind of remember the book. It's still in the back of your mind. I'll see if I can work on adding some. I don't even know what to call it. Like, just, I guess, like a review, like touch upon the story, like what's been happening up until now, kind of thing. But for me, for me personally, as a writer, I feel it slows the story down, especially at the beginning of the story. Maybe I'll add some flashbacks after the beginning starts. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, no more sepia timelines. Forget sepia. Blur. John Kane is 10 years, and I'm working on refreshing. Yeah, prologue, but prologues for me is just chapter 1. I don't like to do prologues. I've only done, I want to say, one prologue in all the writing that I've done, because again, a prologue for me is just chapter 1, and it slows the story down, and I don't really want to jump into it. I think the only prologue I've done was Ursula in Damned, and that prologue was basically chapter 1, just pre-chapter 1 in a way, but it just started the story. It's how she gets the hammer, basically. And I had to have that a little separate from the story itself. So I get that a lot of the shredders are saying it starts too abruptly, but that's kind of just, as they say, I like to hit the ground running. What else did I see in some of the questions answered? There were a few other comments that were there that I kind of understood where they were coming from, but it happens. You kind of have to get used to how each author writes. That's just basically the way it is. And I'm glad I reminded you about Steve McHugh's new book. Who was that? Oh, Leanne. I'm glad I reminded. Something else for you to read, Leanne, while you recover. Who's this? Wendy's reading a new book, The Urban Shaman, The Walker Papers. Okay, by C.E. Murphy. So Wendy put it in the mob with an L3. So you know. I hope by now you know the format, right? L3, title of the book, author of the book, a link if possible, so other people can discover. And I'm hiding the current comment now, but don't forget to get Chris Chrisman's new book. Awesome. So yes, so Shadow Queen took some interesting twists and turns, and so we'll see where. And so the next book, which I'm gonna write right away because of the way Shadow Queen kind of ended, it's not a cliffhanger. Is it a cliffhanger? Do you think it's a cliffhanger? Did you get to the end? I don't think it's a cliffhanger, but then again, I don't think any of my books are cliffhangers because the stories are still in my head and I know how it continues. The only book that I can say was a cliffhanger was Blood is Thicker. That was a cliffhanger. Yes, that exactly when the L3, the Larry's literary list is what L3 stands for, is where we try to explode his Kindle, but we haven't managed it yet. A cliffhanger. No, I don't think it was a cliffhanger because it kind of resolved a lot of things, but left them some things to be pursued, let's say, but not a cliffhanger exactly. A cliffhanger, yes, definitely. We should just adopt that term. I don't write cliffhangers. I write cliffhuggers. There you go. Better. So it wasn't a cliffhanger, but definitely I'm going to jump right into Endgame Tango and Corpse Road. Corpse Road first because Corpse Road is really due. It has to get that. That one has a deadline that will get me in trouble if I don't meet it, like real trouble. I don't want to do that. But also Endgame Tango because I want to get that trilogy done. Because once the trilogy is done, I'll see if we continue the Treadwell stories. Because I'd like to. It's an interesting group, and I'd like to flesh out more of the directive, more of the stray dogs. Yes. Oh, I didn't realize you were at work. So you were chilling on the beach. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, even if you're at work. And yes, Audrey, it's more like more to come for sure. Definitely. Yes. As for the Jotner Ice Mages, yes, because if you saw, I believe it's Entropy where they started talking about Cece and what's happening and how she has to get ready. Oh, you're driving. Nice. Oh man, driving in Florida, that's nice. I hope your AC is working well. That's all I can say. So ever expand on them? Yes, because the relatives have visited, and I've alluded to the fact that Cece at some point has to get ready for a test, and that's what Monty's role. And now Dex and Morgan will be doing, but it's still Monty, Moore, and Simon. But that's why she's been moved to the School of Battle Magic, and she has to get ready. So yes, more on the Jotner Ice Mages will be coming up later as she progresses, as she gets closer to her test. There's going to be more mention of it. So yes, more to come. There's a lot of stuff that's back in the backgrounds that has to come to the foreground for sure. So do you guys have any? So I didn't see many questions except for Audrey because there's always questions from Audrey. We should just include the Audrey question section at this point. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask that may not directly touch on Shadow Queen, but that I can maybe answer? You know? So, oh, that's cool. That's awesome being a motor coach operator. So you shuttle groups from place to place. That's fantastic. Okay, no reading and driving at the same time. Do not want to hear about any accidents of a motor coach operator in Florida watching the mob. So you focus on the road, eyes on the road. You can hear us too. That's true, right? You can hear the audio. Bye, Luann. Have a great work day. That's awesome. So do you guys have any questions? Because I'm going to keep going. I'll go into the book and audio updates, and we're going to be here for a little while. We have about an hour, and then there are questions. Let me see. I want to make sure that I have oh, good. Okay, cool. Excellent. Questions are ready. We are prepped. So how's everyone doing? How was everyone's Christmas or holidays? If you celebrate Christmas, the end of the year, what are you doing for the new year? Because this is our last show of the year. What are your plans for 2024? Which is literally 1-2 days away. The new year is 2 days away. What are your plans? Is it going to be a quiet 2024? You staying home, staying with family, usher it in really quietly, a home celebration? Hey, Happy New Year. Or are you going to be going out? We don't really go out. Usually by the time it's that New Year's Eve, most of the tribe is sleeping. And we got hit hard this year with whatever bug is out there, with the ick, as we say. And everyone was at one point, all of us were out, we're sick. So some of us are still recovering. So we're not going anywhere for 2024. We're gonna be home. It'll be quiet. Hopefully everyone is recovering well. I used being in New York, I used to be, let's go to Times Square. I mean, I'm talking a long time ago when I was really young. Go to Times Square, be in that mob. It's insane. It's crazy. I used to do it when I was really young. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just too crazy. Too many people. Everybody's drinking and partying, and you run into a lot of insanity when you go if you go into Times Square on New Year's Eve. Let's say a quiet night at home. Quiet night at home, probably in pajamas. I'm totally for that, Wendy. Doing well. Definitely glad this weird year is over. Yeah, going to a friend's quiet New Year's. That's a good plan. It's not a sick. It's just an ick feeling off. Yeah, it could be an energy thing too. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, so it's a good time to just sit back and recharge and kind of reflect on the year, what you wanted to do, what you got done, what you will do, things like that. Tiger and the Dragon. Can't wait to meet more of the crew. Who's this? Oh, hi, Rebecca. Can't wait to meet more of the crew. I look forward to seeing these characters develop. I still think the receptionist is like no, Rabbit is not a red shirt. Rabbit is the new one. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The new receptionist, they're going to go through a lot of receptionists, unfortunately, because the new receptionists are going to either see something they didn't expect or be involved in something they didn't expect, which is why Sebastian keeps telling her, you got to make sure you get the right kind of receptionist that can deal with what we do and who we are, Probably watching the Peeps drop, and then staying in and possibly watching the ball on TV. Yeah, I think I'll watch the ball on TV. I've done that the last few years. One of the Valkyries usually stays up. Usually the last one, the youngest one, stays up, and we usher in the year, and it's Happy New Year. We wake everyone up for about 5 minutes, and everybody goes back to sleep. So, a night at home with a good book and a rich fattening. See, that's a plan. We have Devil's Food Cake, right? Oh, we just got some Devil's Food Cake yesterday, so that's gonna be really good. Hi, Linda. Yes, a quiet night at home. It sounds great. I've realized also that the mob, excuse me, is made up of less young people, like myself. So we're not really the go out and party type. We're more like stay home and relax, have some coffee, and just stay in and have a quiet evening at home for New Year's Eve. Go back maybe 3 decades, I would be going to a New Year's Eve party or something, and staying up all night. I do that. I'm in bed for like I'm in bed for 2 days now. A cup of something, a good book. Yes. I think we're gonna have some of that Devil's Food Cake. We just got a big, like an awesome Devil's Food Cake. Gonna have a small piece of that. Yeah. I might see what Blue-Eyed Demon. Oh, you should really Blue-Eyed Samurai, Wendy. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out. You will like that. There's so much to discuss with Blue-Eyed Samurai, but I am not going to discuss it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's really good. Yeah, Chris, I'm afraid our partying days are gone. Those days, like my partying days ended really young for me. Like I was already in my mid-20s when I stopped partying because I was like, there's not much there. So, yeah. But that's what happens when you're less young now. You just relax. You appreciate different things. I appreciate a quiet night at home a lot more than being out partying. It's just, I guess that's just called being mature, less young. Reading, only went out on New Year's Eve once, did not enjoy it. Too noisy, bad food, watered down drinks. Yes, Audrey, that is New Year's Eve. It's noisy. The food is whatever, because they count on people not really caring. So they overcharge you for the food and they give you like not that great food. And the drinks are watered down again to make the most of the evening. So yeah. Still getting used to life without the hubby. I'm so sorry. So definitely going probably to sleep through the year. Do what you need to do to rest and recharge and kind of transition into this new part of your life, this new chapter of your life. Yeah, and that is a great recommendation. I think okay. I don't know if you guys like Devil's Food Cake. I'm not that big of a cake person. I'm more of a chocolate person. Like I love chocolate, especially dark chocolate. So I'll do that. And if I have my coffee, chocolate, and I have my family around me, and I have extended family around the country, and so I'll be definitely making phone calls near the time, and definitely the next day on that Monday, I'm making calls most of the morning, and then I'm jumping into Corpse Road. I gotta, I don't really take that many days off, Hello, Tracy, and welcome. Yeah, New Year's with families. See, for me, partying used to be going to a club, going out with friends, getting dressed up. Yeah, I'm kind of past. For me, getting dressed up is like, I just want to put on some comfortable clothing. I want to be comfy and just relax. I don't want to wear a suit and have to go get dressed like really formal somewhere. I don't do that. I can, but I don't like doing it anymore. I used to do it all the time. I used to wear a suit every day to work when I worked in corporate America. I'm really done with that part. So, yeah. I'm good with not wearing a suit. Do I have a special hat for dress up? Yeah. No, I don't have a special hat for dress up. I have this hat. I have my other M&S hat, and I have another M&S hat. I don't wear. I used to have a fedora. It's somewhere in the closet somewhere, but that was back when I was in my Sinatra days, for sure. But not any longer. No. Now, if I'm going out and it's cold, I'll just wear a beanie or I'll wear this, something like this cap. Morning, Laura. Welcome. So that's basically it. The plans for New Year's are going to be quiet. I think it's for me. I think it changed early on for me, also in the martial arts. Well, for New Year's, we used to have something called Kagami Baraki, which was the class. So it was the first class of the new year, and it used to start it starts because it's still being done. It starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. Usually you get there by 5. It starts at 6 and it goes until 8, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10, and it's non-stop. And you just basically usher in the year with a lot of energy, sweat, a lot of yelling, a lot of kiais. It's really an energetic class. It's the strongest. They call it a strong spirit. It's the most energetic class of the year. And that would be the New Year celebration. And then after that, you would go out for like a massive breakfast somewhere. It was awesome. Yeah, once the kids come along, there really aren't New Year's party because you can't keep them up. When they're really tiny, you can't keep them up past midnight. And as they get older, you don't want to put them in those kind of environments anyway. So, who just came in after Wendy? Let's say good morning. Scott, good morning, Scott. Welcome. So yeah, once the kids come along, a lot of things shift. It's like that's just part of the natural thing of life, right? As you get older and you have your kids, things change. So, David Lamb. Oh, good morning, David. Welcome to the mob. So those are my plans for New Year's, and of course, let's see, writing. I got some writing. I got a lot of writing to do. This January is gonna be packed with writing. Like the whole year is gonna be packed with writing. I've got a lot of looking at the production schedule of 2024. So we've got a pretty packed year. At least I'm looking. This is up to July, right? July, yeah. So it's pretty packed. Some things need to shuffle around, but that's usually the way it is, Yeah, it's a shift, Laura, and so they don't radically change, but you have to adapt, and you have to. And if you don't adapt, you find yourself regretting. You living like looking on these holidays as a regret, as opposed to looking at them as a shift in who you are as a person. When you become a parent, it's different. When you get married, it's different. Things like that. So all these things are shifts in your life. So now you're just shifting into a new phase of who you are. And so it's a new year and you're shifting into the new you. And it's for me, New Year is always a good time to reflect upon what you want to do, what you've done, and what you want to do this coming year. What is this new year going to be for you? And that's really important, especially for me when I'm writing. I kind of have to, if I don't do this, I kind of want to write everything. There's a lot of ideas in my head that want to be written, and I can't write them all in a year. So I kind of have to start honing in on what needs to get done. It's really important. So, yeah, mine are adults, so we're not free to party. But even if they were, it's like you said, it's not appealing any longer. That's just not appealing. So it's just something like, I guess I think our kids see us, like the younger half must see us and it must think we're boring because we don't really do those kind of activities. We don't do parties. We don't do events. We don't have people over like that for New Year's parties. I don't know if Dolly, would you like to have people over for New Year's and have celebrations and things like that? That's a no. That's a no cough. Well, definitely not this year, because this year our home has been an infirmary, and so it's been really much like what? Give me a famous hospital. Say elsewhere. I've dated myself with that one. Yeah. All right. So okay, let's move on to book and audio updates. All right. First of all, huge thank you to all of you that are shredding Shadow Queen. I know Paige said she wasn't going to get to it. She may not be able to get to it, but you've done quite a bit already. So thank you. And to all of you that have been able to shred Shadow Queen, a huge thank you, because the shreds always help. And if you haven't been able to shred, like I always say, if you can shred, then at least answer the questions, because it does help. I read all the answers to all the questions. And sometimes there's an insight in one of those answers that helps me flesh out the story a little bit more. So, but don't feel bad if you put a note or answer a question and it doesn't seem to be addressed in the story. Sometimes for reasons that are beyond what you could see in that book. Sometimes it's related to other books that are either written or books that are going to be written. Certain things can't be changed. So don't feel like it's like I automatically veto your suggestion. It's just that I look at it and try to see it in the larger scope of the series. So don't take it personally. I appreciate every note you give, every question you answer. Yes, Paige. Yeah, I see that sometimes you go in there and it's like you hit a whole bunch of stuff, and then sometimes you go in there and it's very, very precise and you hit certain things. But every note, every question answered is important. So thank you very, very much. So Shadow Queen will be out in 2 days. 2 days. So it closes on Saturday at noon. And then I'm gonna try. No, not even 2 days. It's today. It's tomorrow. So I'm sorry, because we're on break this week. My days are all over the place. So kids are going to bed late, waking up whenever. I'm going to bed late, waking up, fairly early, but not so much. So our days are all over the place. The schedule's all thrown off. But yeah, Shadow Queen releases. The art closes tomorrow at noon. I usually try and say I'm going to release it on the following Monday, but I usually release it the same day if I can get to all the notes right away, and then do all the other infrastructure stuff like author notes that you guys never edit and no one sees until it's the last thing that's written are the author notes. So they usually have errors and mistakes and stuff like that. So it's kind of a secret. And but yeah, so Saturday noon it closes. So this weekend it comes out. So I hope you guys. How many people have pre-ordered it? Do we know? Wow, so 125 people have pre-ordered it, which is amazing. It's fantastic. So it'll be out and then it'll be live, and then you guys will be able to read it and have fun with it. Corpse Road comes out. So I start Corpse Road. Okay, I'm kind of itching to start Corpse Road because I already have the outlines already there. And it's like, I'm really like chomping at the bit, as I say, to get to Corpse Road. because it's off. Well, one, because it's Mountain Strong. Mountain Strong is really like one of the easiest and hardest things for me to write. But also, this story, I'm gonna have a lot. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it because it's kind of a departure from the usual end of the world stuff. So I'm really kind of anxious to get to it. And so I'm starting that Monday, and we'll jump into that. I'm anticipating getting Corpse Road done in January. So this is gonna be one of those like NaNoWriMo type deals where the book gets written in the same month. So that'll be fun. Let's see. We have a December story for Patreon. That'll come out quickly. So the December story for Patreon is going to be in January, but it'll be out there. And yeah, that's basically it's kind of light on new things because the things have been ongoing. You know, it's been busy, and Shadow Queen has taken over everything recently. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good on the pre-orders. And the first day it was like 20 something, and then it just ballooned into like, and it just kept going more and more. So it's a good amount of pre-orders for sure. This is coming from the person who never did pre-orders. I never did pre-orders on Amazon, and I told Dolly because I don't like being locked into a date, you know. So as for audiobooks, I will refer you to our audiobook person, Dolly. When is our next audiobook coming out? So early next year, next half of the year, it's coming out. We got to make sure that it's like scheduled properly because we're up to, what are you up to? Blood Lessons? Blood Lessons is next. Okay. So yeah, next half of the year. Michelle, you made it. No, not barely. We still have another at least 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah. I need the like to order. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Oh, I need the link. It's like, here, you'll have a like. Boom, like it. So yeah, so Blood Lessons, which is our next audiobook, will be next year. So we're a little behind our audiobooks, considering our audiobooks are up to book 17, and our books are up to book 22. So yeah. That is the official word. Mid next year, production schedule will be slow. We haven't broken even on the last 9. So we got to really push our audiobooks so that we could break even on them so we can make more of them. That's basically it. Hello, Carrie. Oh, thank you for coming in. Even if it's only for a few minutes, thank you for popping in and saying hello and wishing everyone a Happy New Year. Wish you have a Happy New Year also. I know sometimes you can't always stay for the whole show, but if you come in, pop in, say, hey, Happy New Year, and then jot out, it's also good. So thank you. Hope you have a great New Year. Yeah, so, oh, are they the mini monsters of feral today? Just, try to contain them, Michelle. So in terms of the audiobooks, for those of you that are thinking about them, audiobooks can be, so it's a whole separate thing from just writing ebooks and paperbacks. Audiobooks are an independent medium that take a lot of managing as well. And you have to do the marketing for them, and you got to push them. And it's one of two things. Either they're pricey up front, so if you produce them yourself, they're pricey, or if you split the royalties, it takes a long time for them to break even. So either way, it takes a while for them to break even. You got to move a lot of audiobooks for it to become a worthwhile investment. So it takes time. And with audiobooks, that's just, you have to do that. You have to do that knowing that going in. Here's the link for the pre-order. It's up. Wow, look at it. Instantaneous. Man. So if you want to pre-order Shadow Queen, here's the link. So grab it and click away. But it's good to have audiobooks, and some authors do it themselves. Like I know John Logson does his own audiobooks, or at least used to. I don't know if he's still doing them. And for that, then you're talking about a whole different investment, because you need the mic, you need the software, and then you need the space to do it in, because it has to be, audiobooks cannot have ambient space in the recording. So you kind of need either a studio. I know, who is it? I think Joanna Penn does them in a closet. She has a special closet she goes in. She can close the door. It's completely quiet, and she can do her audiobooks in there. So there's a different kind of setup if you're going to do your own audiobooks. And don't forget that you've got to invest the time to do it, and the actual toll it takes on your voice and your body. So reading, you have to read it in a certain way. You have to know how to read your own books in a way where you can do the right inflections and do the right voices. There are actors that do this. The narrators aren't just reading the book in a monotone. They're You guys have heard the Monty and Strong. Kevin is a fantastic narrator, but he brings the characters to life. So audiobooks can be a whole different thing, which is why a lot of authors, a lot of authors do them, but a lot of authors have not chosen to do them because of the investment involved, not only the financial investment, but the time investment or the equipment investment and things like that. So this is why our audiobooks are on book 17, because we've taken a different track. We've taken a slower pace with the audiobooks. And yeah, that's the explanation for that. Because I've got a lot of questions where, why is your book up to your series up to book 20 whatever, and your audiobooks are only up to book 17 or 16 at this point? And I always say 16 audiobooks. We were cranking them out one a month. We were cranking them out monthly, and yeah, that got pricey quick. So, and we love Kevin, but we got to also take into account that there's a whole different side to authoring, the business side of authoring, which would be a different show, that you have to factor in when you start writing. What can we do to promote the audiobooks? Chris asks.
Well, the best ways to buy on the website.
All the audiobooks are on the website, so the best ways to get them on the website. And just share the word. I guess we could share the word in the mob. And Dolly does it with newsletters, and we could just keep pushing it in the mob. Like, hey guys, don't forget to get the audiobook in the mob. We're up to book 16 and things like that. And that's basically it. And we have some cross promotions. An author contacted me today. I sent you the link. Yeah. So we'll look into different ways to do it, because as an author, you have to constantly look, as an independent author, no, actually as a traditional author too. You have to constantly be aware of ways to promote yourself, to promote your work, to promote your books. It's important. You can't just write the book and expect people to discover you. It would be great if that were the way it happened. And we got an emergency passing by. It would be great if that were the way it happened, where you could write the book and automatically you're discovered. Because that's what I thought when I wrote The Spiritual Warriors. I'm going to write The Spiritual Warriors, and that's it. Wait, there's more. Something's happening out there. So I was going to write The Spiritual Warriors, and that was it. I was going to get discovered. Everyone's going to want to know, what the next book is coming out. And I wrote The Spiritual Warriors, and crickets. Nothing happened. So Dolly, who handles a lot of the numbers side of stuff, is putting it in numbers right now for you. So there you go. So you guys can read what the difference. And we do it because, one, it's important to have audiobooks for the readers, listeners, I guess. It's important, I think. And also, you want to have your book in as many mediums as possible, right? So I've had people who have discovered the books through ads, through audiobooks, through ebooks. Some have discovered it through paperbacks, which is really rare because not many people read the paperbacks as the first way to find an author. KU, excuse me, is another way. A lot of people have found me. Other authors, they've read another author, and that author's book led them to one of our books. So there's so many different ways, you know that? So it's, as much as we like audiobooks, and I love audiobooks because I love listening to them, we kind of have to, be very prudent on how we put them out, Yeah, Facebook ad. Which ad? Do you remember which ad? Who was that? Who discovered us through an ad? Leanne. Do you remember which ad? Because we have quite a few. And that is a whole nother topic of marketing your books and how to market your books and which social media helps you the most. Like some people use Facebook, some people they used to use Twitter, but not as much anymore. Some use Amazon, some use Book Talk, some use websites. So there's different ways to do that as well, and it depends, Yeah, there's so many. So in the beginning, I was creating a whole bunch of different ads and trying out different things and testing out different ads and testing out 99-cent sales, and it's a whole in the beginning. There's a lot to learn. The learning curve is really steep, really steep. The outlay, the outlay is significant, right? And let's see, if it's done with a production company, then the author loses their book rights for 7 years. If you do it with, like, we went with an audio company, 7 years you lose the rights. So it's like that. And so if any of you authors and you have questions about what it takes to be an author, an independent author, please don't hesitate to ask, because I was fortunate that I had John Logsdon and his wife who helped me with all my questions, but not everyone has someone they can reach out to and ask questions to. And I try to be a resource to new authors or authors just in general who may have questions. And if I don't know the answer, trust me, I can find someone who does. Okay, let's get to questions. Here we go. I cannot see your comments because I've gone to a different page, but I can see you this way. All right. So Audrey asks, and if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. Okay. So write them in the comments on the side. First question from Audrey. Thank you, Audrey, for your questions. What literary pilgrimage have you gone on or would like to go on? I don't think I've gone on any literary pilgrimages. Let's see. When I visited London, I briefly went to I went to Baker Street because, come on, I'm in London. I might as well go where, Baker Street, Sherlock Holmes. I went there, and then I went to, I don't remember exactly where it was, but I did visit the statue of Dame Christie. They have a monument to her near a large theater, and I got to do that. I walked along the Thames. I did a few neighborhoods in London. I went to the Globe Theater because, come on, Shakespeare, even though I think the original burned down. So if I'm going to say I went to a literary pilgrimage, going to London touches upon a lot of authors who I read or admired or aspired to, be like. So I would say going to London is a literary pilgrimage. And the reason I went there was book related because I was doing something for Amazon. Because this is way back. 2 Yards and Butterflies was a UK storyteller finalist. Was going way back in time now, and so I was invited to go to London. And so, but if I had the choice to go on a literary pilgrimage, I'd have to think about it, Audrey, because there's so many places I'd like to visit that are dealing with books that it would take at least a year to go to all these places. So yeah. So I would say London, and just kind of, because I had 2 weeks in London to kind of just walk around and explore and discover and find, like, read these plaques on these really old buildings and go to the Tower of London and just kind of explore everything. So that would be my only literary pilgrimage to this day right now. Great question, Audrey. Thank you. Okay, Dolly, are you here? You ready to answer? Question for Dolly is, does a big ego help or hurt writers? That's a good question. What do you think? I don't know. Ask them. Can you hear her? Her voice right now is really shot because she's been having throat issues. Do you want me to answer for you? Like you say it and I'll repeat it? Go ahead. All right. You got to give me time to Translate. So a big ego is bad because the author a big ego, having a big ego is bad because authors need to do a lot of learning. They need to be open to learning. And if they're not teachable, they're not going to be able to learn. So if they have a big ego, it's going to get in their way. Anything else? Is that it? Yeah. Okay, she's mentioning Furoshin, Mushin, and Zanshin, which are Japanese terms of that kind of deal with being learning, being teachable, being open to learning new concepts. I'm glad you remembered those. That was great. So, but to distill it, having a big ego hurts writers because you can't learn, you can't be open to receiving constructive criticism from other authors who can help you. And I'll tell you from my own experience, having a big ego, I don't have a big ego. I think I have a big ego. Jeez. But having a big ego only gets in the way because usually when you're starting out, you need to have other author friends. I mean, it's important. And if you have a big ego, it comes across as you're a little too full of yourself. And then people don't want to help you. It's sad because usually you don't get through this writing adventure on your own ever. I don't care how awesome you think you are. If you don't have readers, you can write the next great novel, but if no one reads it, no one's going to recognize it as the next great novel. So big ego does not help you as a writer. It doesn't even really help you as a person. So yeah, that's a great question. Great answer, Dolly. Fantastic answer. Next question from Audrey. What is the most unethical practice in the publishing industry? Well, I would say, again, this is my opinion, so it's not law. The most unethical practice in the publishing industry is stealing someone else's work and passing it off as your own. That would be the most unethical practice in the publishing industry, is writing a book that's really someone else's book, taking their work, changing it around, and then saying, I wrote this. It's like it's my original work. That would be the most unethical practice, I think. There are other ones because of technology, so they're like click farms and padding books and things like that. But at the end of it, I would say the most unethical one is passing someone else's work off as your original work. That would be the most unethical. I think that's it. Let me see. Are there any other questions in the room? You'd be surprised. Yeah, it does happen often enough that it could be a problem. Yeah. So yes. So you know how they say flattery is the highest form of admiration or flattery? What's the saying? I forgot the saying. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Something like this, right? The problem is there's imitation and then there's downright stealing, appropriation. Right. Good one. I like that word. So that's a fine line, that one, So there's a lot of piracy. There's a lot of what happens is that books get taken, they remove the title, they change a few words around, then they reprint the book or they re-release the book as a different book with a different title, but the inside is the same book as someone else's book. And it takes a while to find that. And so in the meantime, the author is losing revenue because of the piracy. So piracy is a form of theft in this regard. So yeah, that piracy ties in right into being the most unethical behavior in terms of this, because you're taking the person's work, you're changing it, you're saying it's yours, and then you're releasing it, and then you're making money off of that, off of someone else's work. So it's no longer flattery at that point, it's theft. In the authoring requires a huge amount of learning. Yeah, it's all new. The learning curve in the authoring is steep, really steep. I'm still learning. Every day you're learning something new. So it's steep. And you have to be willing to, like this person saying, you have to be willing to be humble enough to admit, I don't know. And to reach out to and failing and doing things and not working and being able to say, I don't know. That's the, and I need help, and I need help. Those two things, I don't know, I need help, really difficult for a lot of new authors because the ego gets in the way. And what Paige is saying is another aspect of that, where people scan books and then they offer them for free on the web. That's pirating the books. And it's theft, because you want to get a sample of the book. If you're on Amazon, you get the look inside, right? And the look inside is only, I think, depends on the author, but it's like 10% of the book or 15% of the book, but it's never the entire book. And when people scan all the entire book and then offer for free, the author loses out. Yeah, it's a rough time of the year to get sick. We all got hit with the sick and the ick. So yeah, it was rough. So I would say that's the most unethical thing. Not just, I guess, in the author in the publishing industry, but just in general. It's like fake paintings and things like, people passing off an original Picasso as a Picasso as original when it's really a fake. Things like that. I imagine, yeah, because with AI, with the advent of AI now, there are people who can build entire books on that text. So not so much in the US, because in the US, the readers are really savvy. But when you have the translation issue, like books written in English and then translated into another language, I would think that it's easier to, because of what gets lost in translation, you could easily make a book, a pirated book, because you could change certain things and it changes the meaning of certain things. And that American English book becomes in another language, it can become someone else's book, and that becomes a pirated book. And audiobooks can be stolen too, or portions of audiobooks can be stolen. So you have to claim your book. So if you're an author, claim your book. And what we're doing is look into copywriting what you can. Now, some things can be copyrighted, some things can't. You can't copyright things that are general ideas. You can't copyright the word "the," things like that. But you can copyright your character, or you can copyright titles. Can't be copyrighted. So you have to learn what can and cannot be copyrighted before you go on that, So understand what what world you're stepping into. Like, I don't really chase pirates anymore. I used to way in the beginning. I don't, because if we were to do that now, it's a full-time job to just go after people taking your books, putting them somewhere. You go to that site, you have to fill out a form, have them to take it, asking them to take it down, remove it. It's not, it's not supposed to be there. Before you know it, it's going to crop up somewhere else. You got to go over there, ask them to take it down. And that's going to, you spend all your time just asking people to take your book down from place to place to place to place. So get it in one place. I put it on Amazon. I have DRM on it, I believe. So, so it prevents that kind of behavior, but it still doesn't prevent it completely. It happens a lot. There is a lot of piracy. Yeah, in this industry, there's a lot of piracy. But in other industries too. In the music industry, it was a big deal when Napster came out, and YouTube now you still have issues where people put up entire albums on YouTube, and it's not supposed to be, but people do it. They do it with audiobooks. They can copy the entire audiobook, put it somewhere else, and claim it. Hey, get this free audiobook. So it's something you want to be aware of, and it's something that you need to be aware of, but it's very hard to police it because it's just so prevalent. It's everywhere. It's like Paige is saying of the scanning of the books and offering them to read for free. There are a lot of places that offer that. Just like there are a lot of places that you could offer the entire book for free. And so it's something to know as an author. You need to know this. So you can't go in and see, these are part of the things that you learn as a new author. When you start out, it's not even naive. It's just that you just don't know that you don't know. These things are just out there, and you need to learn them, and you need to be savvy about this thing, and you need to just be pragmatic about it, I guess, realistic, especially if it's something that people are going to. So it doesn't happen to you when you're a writer that no one knows. The moment your books start getting a readership, understand piracy is right around the corner, because the readership is a demand. And so if there's a demand, that means that there's money to be made from that demand. And so understand that, yes, your books are popular, people are reading them, and also someone's going to want to pirate them as well. And so you have to go in knowing that. You can't really escape it, but you can mitigate it, you know? Anything else? Because I hear you typing away. What's going on? It's like a book back there. So guys, we still got a little time. Usually we would end the show, but we're gonna let it extend just a little bit this year. It got away from me, the show. We have so much fun. And it's the last show of the year. 109. Geez, it's hard for me to imagine we've done 109 episodes of this show. Because when you think about that, it's every 2 weeks. 109 episodes translates into years of episodes that we have doing this. So at some point we need to do maybe I don't know how many years, maybe episode 200. Excuse me. Excuse me. Maybe episode 200. We'll do a retrospective and see if we can edit and cut parts of the older shows and see how much things have changed. Even just the images of Z, because when she started doing that opening, she was tinier, you know, and nervous. She wouldn't know what to say, and now she's like, welcome to my Kaffeeklatsch. So maybe episode 200 we'll do clips from the old shows. I'll speak with our resident technomancer to see how we can make that happen. It can't be that hard, but by that point, episode 200, that's a lot of episodes to look through. So we'll see what we can do. Regular people don't think in those ways. How do I steal someone else's work and make easy money from it? That's why authors are often blindsided. Yes, authors are really blindsided. Authors don't understand that these things exist. And so they think most authors have this kind of illusion that I'm just going to write the books and everything's just going to happen. And
it's not just that.
Well, they don't realize that their work can get stolen. That their work can get stolen.
Yeah.
They don't realize that. And I'll tell you from my point of view, when I started as an author, I was just going to write The Spiritual Warriors. It was going to be a runaway bestseller. It was going to take off. I was going to be #1 everywhere. And the first year, honestly, I made $56.81. The first year, the first calendar year of my writing, I made $56.81. So it doesn't always happen the way you dream it's going to happen. And then I realized, oh, you've got to put work into this. Like anything else, you've got to put the work in. That's all. So I had to learn marketing. I had to learn how to write ads. I had to learn how to create ads. I had to learn how to write, because my first book, Spiritual Warrior, is still, for me, cringy. But, and so you get better. And if you don't quit, if you persist and you keep going and you keep going, you get better. But you have to be willing to understand that you got to get better. You got to improve your writing, and you got to learn the business. There is a business around writing, and it's a huge business. Episode 200 should be in person for all of us. Yeah, I don't know how. Episode 200 is 91 episodes from now, so it'll be great to have episode 200 in person at Peaches Con. Episode 200. That would be awesome if we had an episode 200 like that. Let's make it happen. That would be fantastic. So yeah, so that's part of the. I guess you lose the mystique of writing a bit, and it becomes real. Tracy, have a fantastic new year. Thank you so much for being here and visiting. And yes, I know you have to get back to work, so thank you so much for popping in and saying hello and spending some time with us. Thank you, Tracy. Have a great new year. Yes, a year in review would be awesome, Wendy. We could definitely do that. Let's see. So there are loopholes that authors simply don't know about. The audiobook theft that happens on A6, yeah, that's a huge one. It's not logical at all. It's inconceivable. In fact, why would Amazon even allow someone who is not the author to claim someone else's audiobook? That does happen. So this is stuff you need to learn. Doesn't compute as something that could be or should be possible. That is something that it's hard to wrap your head around. I think that's also what happens when companies get so big, they can't monitor every aspect of their business, you know? But that does happen. That's a real thing. Happy New Year. And Tracy, Happy New Year. Jillian, welcome. Happy New Year. I think welcome is in place, or if you're just coming in. If not, Happy New Year. So does anyone have any questions before we start? We're starting to wind down, and we're going to wrap up the last episode of 2023. So if you have a question, this is the time to ask. If not, I'm going to start wrapping it up. You stopped by on your lunch break. Who stopped by on their lunch break? Welcome, Howard. Kate, Happy New Year. So look, I want to take this time to wish everyone a safe and amazing, and in most cases, hopefully a quiet, Happy New Year. It's great that you guys were all here today. It's fantastic that we get to talk about pretty much everything we want to talk about. And I appreciate every time you guys come and we get spend, an hour and 10 minutes discussing the books, discussing life, discussing different aspects, everything. I want to wish all of you a Happy New Year, a safe Happy New Year, and that a healthy one, and that this following year is full of love, joy, success, good health, and amazing things that are coming. Leanne, I hope you recover quickly and I'm up and about and walking about soon from that meniscus tear. It's okay, even if it's a short visit. You came by and said hello. Take care. Have a Happy New Year. And, let's wrap it up. So from me to all of you, I want to wish you guys a safe, prosperous, happy, amazing, incredible New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo. Ciao. And remember the 3 B's. Be kind, be unstoppable, and be uncommon. And you guys, to all of you in the mob, I'm going to say it in a few days too, but to all of you here who are in, the mob that's here, have a Happy New Year. And yeah, it's look forward to a new year where we do more incredible things together. Happy New Year. Wait. Let me close. Where's my closer? Z! Before we leave, because she's really adamant about closing out the show. So before I close the show, don't forget to say Happy New Year, closer. Okay, go ahead.
Bye.
You're so tall now that you got a
weekend.
duck. You got a duck to be in the show. Say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you
Have a good weekend. See you in the next Kaffeeklatsch.
Her voice is a little raspy too because she's recovering. So say bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. It truly has been a Happy New Year. Thanks, guys, for everything. I completely and totally appreciate you. Bye.